my comment.
This is so unhinged, dude. I just can't imagine, like, if I had resources at my disposal like these news agencies do, dude, I would be so embarrassed. Give me this segment, I'll report it. Like, I don't condone like mass reporting shit for no reason. It's just like I don't understand what the point is, you know? Like, if I had all of those resources at my disposal, the shit that I would do with it to make sure that I was, you know, actually helping society in some way, shape, or form, that I was actually making a difference in some way, shape, or form, you know? Like, the shit that I would do to make sure that I was correct. It's just, I can't imagine the mindset of, you know what, this seems like it's probably right, and I'm just going to, you know, I'm just gonna roll with it. It seems right enough that I'm just gonna roll with it. Why are all of these things not dismantling? What the There we go. I used to like Majority Report until they fell for the Islamo-Nazi propaganda. True. Well, I mean, like, I was never a Majority Report viewer. I never watched them. I thought that Sam Cedar was a little bit better than the rest of them. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But my understanding is that they used to be somewhat good, and Sam Cedar used to be somewhat good. But now it's just like pure insanity left and right always with the crazy leftist shit. I swear to God, like, I'm trying to figure out how I can say this. I feel like I really dislike leftists. Not because I think that they're all evil, although increasingly so. It's not looking great for them, right? But I hate leftists because of how counterproductive they are. And I have genuine critiques for them. And I feel like at some point in my life, I'm going to get for criticizing leftists, whether because, like, you know, I'm going to school right now for political science. If I end up getting a job that is involved in politics somehow, like, that's the dangerous territory for me, right? And on top of that, if I don't go into politics, I instead go into, like, I don't know, teaching, I don't know, which is something that I've very much thought about a lot. If some of these Zoomers find my old YouTube page after I'm long gone from streaming, I'm probably But meanwhile, I can have legitimate criticisms of them being unhinged, crazy tankies, of them being incredibly counterproductive to basically every single part of American life that is actually worth defending, like voting, since they hate that so much, like integrity in journalism, because they certainly don't give a fuck about that, right? Like, every aspect of American life that is, like, better than literally anybody else on the planet, they just say it's all bad. It's all bad, always. And if you criticize that, then you're supporting genocide. And it's crazy. Meanwhile, half of these dumb don't even know what genocide is. They think genocide is when lots of people die, unless they're Jews for some reason, because October 7th, they all balked at people calling that a genocide, which obviously it's not a genocide. I wouldn't ever say that. But they balked at that when people were saying that because it's not a genocide just because a bunch of people died. Quit being overdramatic, lib. Meanwhile, a bunch of people die in Gaza, which is not good. And our leaders try and, put the pressure on Israel to, hey, maybe don't be so aggressive with the bombing, or maybe slow down on the bombing, or maybe start working towards some sort of peace, to the point where Biden called what was it that he called Netanyahu a dumb bastard or some shit, where Biden is getting ultra frustrated with them while he's pressuring them. And then these same troglodyte, subhumanly unintelligent, dumb who have the resources at their disposal to actually understand the situation on the ground, these instead are telling people not to go out and vote. That it's exactly the same. Not voting, voting for Trump over Biden as a protest vote. It's all the same to them. And these are the people with resources at their disposal. It's insane. You are wrong. It is a genocide. I do not think that what is happening in Gaza right now rises to the level of genocide. The strongest claim that I think you can make, and this is just me, playing ball with everyone who's using genocide as the word. The strongest word that I think you could use is ethnic cleansing, and that's a maybe. But I do not think that there is evidence of genocide. Genocide is a very specific crime. Genocide is the highest crime that a nation can commit and requires so much evidence of intent, evidence of planning, and it's just not there. Oxford. Hold on. I didn't see that you posted the Oxford definition, but UN, what's the word? Convention on Genocide. Wait, message retracted. Was that a mod that deleted that, or did you delete it? Welcome to the United Nations. Oh, look at that. It's the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Just so you guys know, Oxford didn't come up with the term genocide. It was actually invented. The word was invented by a guy named, after all the times that I've read about genocide, now I can't remember his name. What's his first name? Etymology. Lemkin, of course. Raphael Lemkin. And Lemkin's, you might be able to make the case under Lemkin's original definition. But even that's hard under his definition. But under international law, let me see here. In the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent. With intent to destroy, in whole or in part. Now, right here, the in part, that does, if you haven't read anything on genocide, you might think, well, they are destroying a people in part. They're killing a lot of Palestinians right now. However, would you say that someone who is going out and let's say there's a small neo-Nazi group, okay? Let's say there's a small neo-Nazi group and they start going out and doing murders of Jewish and people of color around the United States. Now, they have, why? Discord should not be able to stretch that far. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's say that there's a group of neo-Nazis. They're going out killing black people, Hispanic people, Jews, because they want to cleanse the United States of non-white people. Would we ever call that a genocide? No, we wouldn't, because it would be hate crimes. It would be targeted killings, but it wouldn't be a genocide. But let's expand that. Let's say that there is a nation at war with another nation, and a lot of people die in the process. Is that a genocide? There's not enough information. Just because a lot of people die does not mean that it is a genocide. In order for it to be genocide, there has to be evidence of intent that they are planning on killing these people simply for the fact of them being that kind of person. There has to be evidence of planning. What are their plans to remove this group of people from the face of the earth? There has to be action. And we haven't even met either of the first two criteria to say that the actions right now are genocide. Now, I will hand on a Bible, and I'm recording it right now. Oh, shit. My Discord stopped recording. Sorry, Tron. I ran out of space on my computer. But hand on a Bible on stream right now. You can clip it. You can ship it. You can save it to your computer and show it to me later. If there's ever evidence of Israel planning to destroy the Palestinian people, and they have a plan, and they are planning on acting that out, yeah, I'll change everything that I've said. A crime committed with the intent to destroy a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group in whole or in part. Right. Again, the key word here, the intent to destroy. The intent to destroy. And every single genocide that's ever been documented as a genocide has shown planning, of them showing, having logistics planned out on how to remove these people from the area, on what excuses they would use in front of the international court. I don't think a plan is entirely necessary. Serbia didn't have a plan. If we're talking about what's going on right now, I don't know a lot about the Serbian genocide. I think that there are some acts that are so brazen that just like people walking up and mowing down a load of civilians, right? That would be one thing that wouldn't require a plan, but it would show intent. However, we don't see them going in and just like with like no forethought, just like mowing down tons of Palestinians. Why the fuck would they share their plan to the media? With the Rohingya Muslims, do you think that they leaked their plans to the media? With the Hutus and the Tutsis, do I have those right? In Rwanda, do you think that they leaked their plan to the media? Have you not heard what the Likud have stated? I have heard what the Likud have stated. I've also heard what Palestinian leaders have stated. I've also heard what the Nazis stated. I've also heard what they stated about the Rohingya Muslim genocide in Southeast Asia. But the difference between what the Nazis said and what the Israelis have said and what the people in Rwanda have said and what the people over Myanmar? And what the people over in Myanmar have stated is that those other countries actually followed through with genocidal actions. Whereas, even if you want to say that we're approaching a genocide or there is an ethnic cleansing happening, 1 second. Got home from work, time to drink, same. I'm not saying that they have to say, here's how we will perform a genocide, but based off of everything that I've read on genocide, and I've had to read quite a bit on genocide because of arguments that people are making online, there's never been a genocide with these characteristics whatsoever. There just hasn't been such a slow burn genocide in all of human history since we've been trying to figure out since we've defined genocide as a term and started, condemning people for it. Intentionality aspect was added because Russia wanted it there because they were so that they weren't guilty of Ukrainian starvation. Yeah, I know. And the Uyghur genocide is easy to prove just based off of the Chinese laws and policies and internal documents. Yeah. But there hasn't been any leaking from internal documents of Israel saying, hey, these bombs right here, we're going to say that we're going to target Hamas, but we're actually just going to kill some more of those dirty Muslims. There hasn't been anything like that. There's been a lot of posturing publicly. And there's been a lot of posturing publicly from the Palestinians too. And if you go back throughout the history of this conflict, they have killed more in 5 months than the entire Ukrainian casualties since the conflict began 2 years ago. I feel like here's my problem. Because I really want to go hard. And I really want to say some shit. Because I've been drinking just a little bit. Okay? But here's my difficulty. When I'm talking to people, and my family is like this, they're very, very pro-Palestine, right? And they question why I say these things. And the only reason I say these things is because I've actually read up on genocide. I understand, and I think that most people, when they are talking about the genocide of the Palestinian people, they mean it from a good place, and they're not trying to just say, I hate Jews or anything like that. I think that it is largely a position that comes from, I genuinely do not want to see more civilians killed. And I agree with you. I also do not want to see any more civilians killed. All right? That's a stupid analogy. Ukraine has air defense and an army. Hamas don't. I know. But I'm trying to be chill because I've been drinking and I want to be nicer. But you can't look at a military conflict that was instigated by a terrorist group that still currently has at least dozens of hostages taken from that initial instigation, then look at how many bombs have been dropped in these 2 months and then say, yeah, it's definitely a genocide. If they wanted to kill the Palestinian people, brother, I have news for you. That could have been accomplished on October 8th. How many bombs have been dropped? Because the last time I looked up this ratio, it was about, for every bomb dropped, 1.2 people died. That was the ratio. If they wanted to kill everyone in Gaza, it would have happened months ago. How many bombs dropped on Gaza? And this was written when? December 30th. Oh shit, this was 2 months ago. December 22, January 11th, January 4th, 2024. As of January 4th, they dropped more than 45,000 bombs. Gaza death toll that we looked up just a minute ago. 30,000. There are fewer deaths than bombs that have been dropped. And this is an article from 2 days ago. And this is how many bombs were dropped a month ago. How do we reconcile calling this a genocide with the intentional act of wanting to destroy a group of people? It is the least of, like, if it comes out that it is a genocide, like, I'll castigate myself on stream, and then I'll go and fight with all the people who are on the same line of thinking as me. However, I don't know how we reconcile this idea that they're intentionally trying to kill as many Palestinians as possible. It's just the least efficient genocide in all of human history is all I'm trying to say. If it is a genocide, it's the least efficient one of all time. No, I'm not misusing the term destroy. In every single instance of genocide that I've ever looked into, all of the major ones, all of the secondary ones, they are eradicating the existence of Palestine. How many people in the West Bank have been destroyed by bombs. Why are they conquering the land as they go? What do you mean by that? By conquering the land, do you mean that they have like soldiers on the ground? And there are areas that they've cleared of Hamas? And so they have like staging grounds there? Is that conquering the land? Of all of the claims I've seen about Israel, Palestine, Israel, Gaza, I've never heard anybody say that they're conquering Gaza. It will all be Israeli land after the conflict. I genuinely doubt that. And I would put money down right now to say that they wouldn't do that. There is literally no, and when I say literally, I mean it, literally no upside to Israel taking the Gaza Strip as their own. And I defy you to give me one legitimate piece of intel that shows that they're annexing the land as they go through, clearing it of Palestinians. Just give me somewhere to look at. I have never heard that. Anyways, there's like a million things that we can do here, but we could sit here and argue with chat forever about Israel-Palestine. But I just don't, it's like the arguments with people I had on trans genocide. There are things that are happening. I agree that they are bad. Does this rise to the level? Why are they all cornered in Rafah now? They've been cornered in Rafah. Give it a few weeks. Hey, how about this? Do you agree? How about a $50 wager? I don't think that this conflict will last until the end of 2024. Destroy you on Discord with a told you so. Put some money down on it, man. No, I'll debate you on Discord when the conflict ends. How about this? You'll get to say, I told you so, nanny nanny boo boo, if I'm wrong. What if you're wrong? This is, okay, 50 USD PayPal. All right, yes. And if they annex it, just send me your PayPal email or username or whatever and I'll send you $50. All right? Because that's some stakes that you have too. Because if it's just me having stakes, then it's no fun, right? Yeah, I mean, you'll still have the right to come on and verbally abuse me for being wrong. Define conflict will last when Operation Protective Edge ends. How about that? But I don't think, I wouldn't, I would also put money down that this conflict doesn't last into the summer. Because there just won't be, there won't be a Gaza left, you know? I don't dislike you, you're just wrong. It's like, yeah, and I don't dislike you because like I know that you're more leftist than I am, and I usually dunk on leftists a whole bunch, right? But you're pretty reasonable in chat. I'm not gonna like sit here and shit on you to the end of the earth. But on the topic of genocide, I have very strong opinions because people, this is my problem with it. When we use the strongest word possible to describe a bad event, right? And it doesn't actually align with that event, we're doing two things. We are, on one hand, cheapening what that one word means, genocide, right? This is one of my arguments that I had with trans genocide. The idea that trans people are being genocided in the United States right now is ludicrous. And it takes away from anybody, like, even mildly pro-trans. They're going to see what this argument of trans genocide, and they're going to be, what the are they talking about? It's kind of bad, but it's not that bad. And it could lower support for trans people because they're screaming about something that's happening that's not happening. And it doesn't get us, the second point, on the other hand, it's not getting us any closer to a solution because the only solution to an ongoing genocide would literally be, and I would support this 100%, for any genocide on Earth, I think that the UN should send in either a strike force or like UN peacekeepers against the will of whatever nation is committing the genocide to stop the genocide. If Israel is committing a genocide, US, European, Chinese, Russian, every country on Earth should have troops there keeping the IDF away from the Palestinians. If there's a trans genocide, every country should be putting troops over here to stop a genocide from happening in the US. But that's not what's happening in the United States with trans people. So that using that word implies a solution, that we should take extreme measures to stop it, up to and including and necessitating violent force. When instead, what really needs to happen is conservatives need to get unbrain fucked, thinking that literally anybody in the world that's trans is trying to entrans their children. And we need to rescind all of the trans legislation because it takes away their civil rights in some places. In some places, it's just unnecessary and places unneeded restrictions on everybody. But that's the actions that need to be taken in the United States because it's not genocide. There is no trans genocide. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if there's no trans genocide, then there is no Palestinian genocide. Anyways, wait, what is it? Is it not Protective Edge? Operation Protective Edge. Oh, that was the 2014 Gaza war. Sorry, guys. What is the Pillar of Defense? That was 2012. Swords of Iron? Okay. And this was okay, so it's Swords of Iron. I think whatever operation operation this is, it can totally last that long. I just don't think so. Like, I don't know if there has been since like the last official war Israel was in. I don't think that there's been anything that's lasted more than like a couple of months. All right.